As a built-in part of Scratch, there's a timer that runs as the game is played. You're going to find the information about that under Sensing. So you can click the box next to timer, which will show the timer. This is showing since the green flag was last clicked. And then you also have a box for reset timer. So as we come in, it's going to automatically reset the timer. If you want to make sure that that happens, you can go ahead and drop that right there. But it's going to happen as you enter. But there's nothing wrong with having it here. So now that we can see it, we'll actually would want to run our level. So we'd want to hit the green flag and actually run our level from start to finish. Now I've already done this and I know that my time is about 17 seconds. I'm going to round that up to 20 as my actual time limit. So now I get to build the stack that'll actually make that end the game. So when it's clicked, I forever want to look at an if-then statement. And for my if-then, I need an operator. And I'm going to be looking to see if the timer is greater than a number that I choose. So I'm going to go with the greater than one. I'm going to drop the variable timer in there. And I'm going to set this to be the number of seconds I want to give my player. So in my case, that's going to be 20 seconds. And now I have to have a result. So very similarly to when their lives equal 0, if I want this taking too long to end the game, I can duplicate this section right here and put it right here. I can switch the backdrop to game over and stop all. If you'd like to, you could also create a new backdrop calling it time's up or something like that and have it say something different. For the purpose of this tutorial, I'm just going to use my game over screen that I already have. So as I click this, I can run through just fine. And if I pause for too long or take too much time going, I can have it do game over. But some of you may have just noticed a problem. Okay. Now I haven't spent 20 seconds on that level. What I spent 20 seconds on were those 3 games total. So what's happening is that if what I want it to do is truly give me a time limit to finish the game, that works just fine. If what I want it to do is a time limit to finish this level, and if I get sent back, I want it to start over, what I need to do is I need to reset my timer when it sends scroll X to 0 and resets my location. I want it to reset timer here. So what that then gives me is if I take too long, by the way, feel free to, if you'd like, you can actually put a testing time in there for like 5 seconds so you don't have to wait all the way through this. Nothing wrong with that. I hit game over and that's fine. That part still works. If I go up to it and I land in the lava, as I restart, it does that as well. Now, there's a few different options for what's going on here. That is, if you run out of time, you're done. If instead of that, if you run out of time, you lose a life and start over, what we can do is we can actually pull this section out and get rid of it. And I'm going to duplicate part of this. So I'm going to pull this chunk off. Actually, I'm going to put this whole chunk in. So if I put the whole chunk in, here's what that does. I am still changing my lives by 1. If it was my last life, I do the switch to game over and we're done. If I, and then I go back and start again. Now the one thing about this is I would want to reset the timer. Okay, so change lives by -1. It doesn't, if it equals 0, do this. If it doesn't, it gives me another chance. And that's the same as here. So as I start it, I have something wrong here. I am missing the timer part of it. I totally missed that part. Here we go. if then. I should have left this part in. Timer is greater than 20. Then do all this. My apologies, I should have left that in there. Restarting again. So we're good here. I got 1 life there, 2 lives there, and we'll just dance back and forth on this attempt until the timer hits. As my last life, I go game over. The other thing I want to make sure that it works is that as I go, if I get to the point where I feel stuck, and all of a sudden my time runs out. Oh, I was just about there when I touch the red. That's what I get for being ambitious. So we'll let this timer run out and make sure that 2 becomes 1. And it resets me to 1 and sets me to the beginning, because essentially what we're doing is we're copying the behavior. Because if we're touching this, this happens. And if the timer goes off, the same series does happen. That works perfectly. So those are your 2 options. You can either have the timer end, or you can have running out of time, lose a life, send you back to the beginning. Either way, using a timer is another way to add excitement to your game.